Okay, my father's favorite thing to do when he got prime old man was to drive to his favorite dealership in his car, get a coffee and a Danish. Our very good friend, Tony Munjet, has a Subaru that he bought. He loves his Subi. He's a Subi guy.
WRX.
He has a WRX. It's a great car. He's done a lot of work to it. And there is a photo. You told me that there's a photo of him going.
He goes there all the time.
To the new Subaru dealer, the badass one that has all the technology.
North John Young Parkway.
There you go. And he goes there, and he is now channeling my father. He's drinking a coffee and a blueberry mug. That's embarrassing.
He just goes there and hangs out.
No.
They want you to do it because
it's so nice.
They set it up where they've got the Subaru merch area. They've got an unbelievable
destination. If you're an enthusiast, if you like Subis, they want you to do that. And Subaru's that kind of company.
Yeah, and their new location, like I said, North John Young Parkway, it's Sport Subaru. They basically refurbished the wetlands there.
Yeah, we've told you.
Donated it back.
We've told you about that. And all the charity event and work that Subaru does with Share the Love that they do every single year.
Great company.
They pick out a charity and then they fire hundreds, if not millions of dollars, back into the community.
Yeah, and their cars hold their value. It's talk about a club. We got a Subaru group, Subaru group with
people
BDMs
in there. So this is the name you need. Mike Stacks. He's your guy.
Yep. Talk to him. He's going to hook you up to let him know you're a Tom and Dan listener. Also, JC Harrelson and Don Mealy Chevrolet in Claremont. If you're interested in any Chevrolet, my wife's got a Traverse from them.
What is this new Corvette? There's a new version of the mid-engine that has come out that is all orange, neon orange. Have you seen this? That looks like a supercar.
I have. Yeah.
There's a guy in Baldwin that has that version. It's like a special edition, burnt orange or something.
Talk to JC. He could have the
in
whole hook
4
you up.
more years, I'll be 50, and it's Corvette Danny. It's happening.
Sport Subaru and Don Mealy Chevrolet in Claremont. Welcome back to A Corporate Time. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Elevate in Sanford.
Oh, I love that place.
We took our families there.
Maisie will not shut up about Elevate.
It is a giant complex. It's the old Sears in Seminole Town Center. That's how big it is. 125,000 square feet.
125,000 square feet of claw machines, go-karts, video games.
Bowling alley. They've got ropes course. They've got mini golf. They've got axe throwing. A bunch of pool tables down there. The video game crazy. I mean, the amount of games they have.
VR. They've got
good restaurant.
Yeah, AI virtual reality simulators.
Did you guys do that?
The kids did it.
Yeah, the kids did it. I can't do it. Maisie and Tommy are on this machine. And they put the VR goggles come out of the ceiling, and you put it on your eyeballs.
Yeah.
And then this thing, it was driving them through Harry Potter's castle, and they're using their hands to collect the orbs of power, and it was blowing their hair, and it blew Tommy's glasses off, and Maisie's flying off. It's awesome. It is awesome.
The best part about it is there's a full bar and grill.
Full bar. That's what she was looking for.
Good food,
That's
too.
What she's
looking
looking
to have a couple drinks and get into some VR.
And then just let your kids play around in the summer.
I don't have kids.
Sam,
I'm just saying.
I'm going to play around.
This place was engineered for Team No Kids. It's made for people. You go there, you get yourself an ice-cold grapefruit high noon. You sit down, maybe, like if you're me, you just sit down in front of a claw machine. I think I played $50 worth of claw machines.
It's a cool place, and
great.
They're also looking to sponsor us. So thanks to Elevate Fund. That's ELEV8, the number 8.
Yeah,
fund.com.
Yeah.
And like I said, Seminole Town Center in Sanford.
Yeah, there's one in Tampa too. For a guy, if you might be over in Tampa, they're putting that one together right now. Let's do a couple of voicemails. Question for, I guess, both of you guys. Do you remember your first celebrity crush?
Yes, JTT.
That's a good one. JTT is a good one. The Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
he was an attractive young boy.
It's funny because I am not in particular with any good-looking
woman
girl.
So you don't
have any posters or anything?
No Daisy Duke?
No.
Daisy Duke?
That one and all of them.
That one and all of them?
Sounds like a pervert.
Well, no, I'm just
a psychopath.
Well, I'm just saying, any good-looking girl on TV when I was a kid.
Any girl will do, huh?
Yeah.
All right,
I'm not picky. I'm not going to be one's better than the other. It's they all are
Ellie
good-looking.
Mae? Ellie Mae Clampett?
Ellie Mae Clampett from
Beverly
Hillbillies.
I was just like, as a young boy, I was just looking on TV. Yeah. I'm kind of like that now. Just like,
all right, I got to leave now.
No, not. I'm just saying, if there's good-looking women on TV, I'm like, all right, that's good.
All right.
Not one's better than the other.
Gigante. If you're watching the Spanish channels have it right. Everybody's dressed in the 1000s. All the dresses are tight. Yeah. The music is loud.
It's all good.
Fun. All right. Well, this guy,
all good.
The reason I ask is because I believe that this particular listener is obsessed with Sally Field from the old Smokey and the Bandit movies.
Tom, Dan, Samantha, and whoever whatnot. There is no way that Sally Field was hotter than... I forgot who the other chick I was going to talk about. It was Sally Field in that thing with Burt Reynolds. I'm sure it's not called Burnt Reynolds, but still forgot.
Sorry, sir.
Damn it, call you back.
Wait.
All right.
Oh, wait, he called us back.
Sally Field versus Daisy Duke. Same time frame, same Pantene hairspray.
No, it was not. It would have been Aquanet. It wasn't Pantene. They didn't even have Pantene in the 80s.
Different. Dollar for dollar. Sally Field in the side of Burt Reynolds' fine super chicken, or the other lady I already forgot about.
This guy's high as hell, right?
My God, man.
He called back.
No, come on.
Daisy Duke, Sally Field, that's what it is. I refuse to Google anything because otherwise I'd be dead. So
I don't know, man. I feel like you could use the Google.
Yeah.
I think that would help you, bro.
Yeah.
You need my caller of the week. I love that.
You need the computer to help you. You understand?
Your brain is broken.
Don't refuse help. Yeah. Dude, why
He's refusing help?
You need it the most.
He does need it the most.
Don't. Why are you hindering yourself?
Why are you hindering?
I'm just like you.
You're the Hindenburg.
I need help.
He needs Google.
He does say that at the end. He's like, I just called in to say, hey, Tom, I'm just like you.
Also,
I always thought Sally Field was very attractive.
Well, I don't know.
No, he was prepared. He got on the line. This happens a lot. Do you know how many times I get a
People
call?
People blank out.
They black out. Do you remember when that happened to Joe Jonas?
Be prepared.
Do you remember when that happened to Joe Jonas? He was on stage playing a guitar solo for this girl. You can look up I'll look up the audio. It's terrible. He walks out, right? And he starts playing the guitar and he forgets how to play guitar.
That happened to somebody else recently, too.
And it's like, bang, gong, ding, gong, ding. It's terrible. And he's standing there and everybody's like, ooh. Oh.
And then that's when the conspiracy theories come out that they're robots. Yeah. They're glitching out, man.
He forgot how to play guitar?
Yes.
I've never seen that. Right?
Nick Jonas has crazy guitar solo fail.
He literally
at the ACMs.
And he said, this actual mess up, we're all over the place today, but it's fun. This actual mess up, he said, put him in therapy. Like he was
yeah, I see that. Nick Jonas got therapy after tragic ACM blackout.
He walked out on stage.
Oh, man.
And the anxiety.
That's my worst nightmare.
But it's also you and I combined. He walked out and then the anxiety was coming. And it said, I'm here. You don't know how to play guitar anymore. Watch this. This is... it is very uncomfortable for me to watch.
Have you ever seen this happen with anybody?
Okay, hold on.
We don't have the TV connected, so we're gonna.
Oh, is it not up there? Okay, hold on. I got it.
We could hear it.
Yeah.
So it's Nick Jonas at the ACMs.
Oh, it's Nick. It's not Joe. Okay. I get all my Jonases mixed up. Oh, no.
And Nick is not the most popular one, right?
I don't know. I'd say he probably is.
Oh, okay.
He had a pretty successful solo career.
Okay.
Pretty damn popular. Okay, here's...
Because there's one more popular than the others, right? Okay.
Hold up. What just happened there?
Hold up.
Did Nick Jonas just screw up his guitar solo? We have all the details and his reaction. Do not go.
Oh, I don't want to see the story. Give me the thing. Okay, here we go. Oh, God, Daniel, you're ruining everything.
That's fine.
Guitar solo was, shall we say, a little off. See that clip? Ooh.
See, he goes like, and then he just kind of stands there.
Oh.
I don't know why she has to pop in. I don't want you, lady. I just want the...
You know what's weird is
Here it is. And then he just stopped. He didn't even finish the solo because he's like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Weird.
It's weird. And
so did he say he had like an anxiety attack?
He said, as I walked towards her, I just completely went blank and I hit a wrong note, and then I blacked out basically and clocked that it was wrong, and I couldn't stop.
Yeah, I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like where you're like...
He says he's unpacked the life blender, spent hours and hours, and he says, I still can't figure out exactly what happened.
It's just your brain.
It's a tasm-tursum. It's like that lady that got on and she's like, tasm-tursum.
You had a glitch in your brain, and it didn't compute for a second. And you're right. And then anxiety flush, like you get a rush of adrenaline probably, and then the adrenaline...
It just rattles your computer.
Makes you, the adrenaline blanks your computer out, and then it's like you can't remember. But
I hate that feeling.
Did that not happen to one of you two at one of the Orlando City matches?
Yeah. What
are you talking about? We have a career to
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the same thing. Yeah. Just for whatever reason, your brain is like, not working.
The Nick Jonases. We're the Jonases.
But I just hold like the bigger celebrities to a higher standard for whatever reason. And the musician part of it, I would think that
Nick Jonas, just like Tom Van.
Yeah. You're the Nick Jonas of Orlando.
I hold him to higher.
Was it you
standard.
Or was it me? Who froze? I forget who it was.
The thing is, nobody would ever been able to tell. Like, if they would have, if people would have filmed it and it would be all over the internet. It was just like, to us, it's a big deal. But if you were watching it, you wouldn't even know that because you picked up my Slack where I couldn't remember.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's why it was good to have.
So if someone else just picked up, it's because he's doing guitar solo. There's nothing else they can go to. Although, why not just start playing back into the regular riff? Right? I think
his brain.
He had nothing. Like a lot of people don't understand when the anxiety gets you don't have anything. You cease to function.
But
completely.
This is rare for musicians.
I think so.
I've never seen
one just happened not that long ago. I'm trying to remember who it was. Like, they forgot their entire song and the audience had to sing it for them.
Now I've seen it where the lead singer forgets the lyrics, right?
Yeah.
But usually they kind of improv where they're just like singing.
Yeah, like Elvis did that. And I'm sitting there in my underwear.
But I've never seen it with a guitar.
No.
Like, you think, like, for whatever reason...
You assume that just doing the melody or whatever will be easier.
Yeah, you've done it so much that you could just go back into maybe you forget the solo or you messed it up a little bit, but you just go back into the general...
I remember watching this live, and I was like, oh... But he's actually a pretty decent guitarist, which is what makes it so weird.
And the fact that he's like, I don't know what happened, like, this is a mistake. It's no big deal. No one cares.
Not a big deal.
No, it was one of them was Adele. She forgot the words to her songs, and then in the middle of the song, as it's going on, she just starts cursing, saying S, wrong words, S, wrong words.
Oh, I remember
and then just starts laughing. She just had a freak out.
Yeah, I remember that. I guess you do got to laugh at it.
Statistically.
Yeah, I'd kind of rather you laugh at it.
You do so many shows.
So Nick should have taken his guitar off and just smashed it.
But I'm sure they feel so bad because they're like, you're not good enough to be here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I'm sure there's a lot of
You're on live TV on an award show.
Okay, his is almost worse, and I'll tell you why.
The internet makes it worse because
he was performing with, he was doing like a duet. So somebody else is counting on you, right?
Yeah, and he ruined
the song.
Okay,
so if it's just me up there and I'm singing my song and I ruin it, I'll just be like, I'm an idiot. And everybody will be like, But everybody's like, you ruined her song.
Yeah.
I'm glad this happened because it does show the audience that, like, these people can make mistakes.
They're human.
And guess what? When they do this, they're mortified and they start questioning their whole life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, put Nick Jonas in therapy.
Yeah. Although, I don't know what... I mean, I guess it's just he must have let the stress get to him to a point where he is having an anxiety attack on stage. Or
I mean, it could be anything.
How do you guard yourself from that in the future? It's probably always up in your head. It's kind of like
I think he's had to really struggle with it. Yeah, it is like the yips.
Like you can't make your free throws anymore, and you've made 10 million of them. And you're just like, why can't I make it? And then it's just in your head.
Yeah,
God,
I get like that in video games where I'll be playing something that's difficult and I'll learn the pattern and get it. And then I'll get in my own head about it and overthink it. And then I lose it and I can't do it anymore. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I start overthinking it. It's like when I can relax, it'll go. But if I'm thinking about it, it won't work at all.
Yeah.
Let's try this. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, adrenaline is your enemy when it comes to performing on stage, I feel. And like,
your emotions are bad.
It helped you run from tigers, 10,000 years ago. But when you're on stage trying to get through your comedy act, get through your performance,
your
or whatever.
I see you with Maisie.
Like the spike,
she can turn it off. Like she can go out there and then she gets like amped up, and then she'll just go out and she'll be calm. And that's when she dances the best. And I'm like, man, I can't do that.
I was a natural performer. But,
maybe I can. I don't know. I don't know what I can do.
You're right about that, because when we were out there doing stage announcements, whatever, you were the rock in this. Like I knew,
I don't get nervous about it.
You were never going to fail.
Because I don't care.
yeah. But you do care. Your anxiety is correct. That's why you're the anomaly. Because I was like, why can this guy do it? His anxiety is pegged to 100 every day
at all times. I know.
And then I'm so like, why? I was struggling through those. Like did those give me?
See, I had a different, totally different perception.
Like at any point in time, I could forget what the hell I was supposed to say. Freeze, pee my pants.
Pee your pants.
The nightmare of like
pee his pants.
Of standing in front of people, frozen. Like I'm
so terrified you start peeing.
I'll get that rush of anxiety and it'll blank my brain out and I'll forget where I'm at, and then like I'm so terrified.
How do you control your adrenaline?
It's nearly impossible because
has anyone ever been able to do it?
Yeah, there are
beta blockers.
Yeah, no, there are. Monks can do it. There are different athletes that learn how to do it.
Well,
I got to learn how to do that.
Yeah, all fighters learn that because in the boxing,
Seth knows how to do it.
Adrenaline is horrible for fighters.
Tom Brady knows how to do it.
Yeah,
I bet Brady's really good at it.
All quarterbacks, you can't have.
Matty Ice was really good at it. They said that
you got to be calm and relaxed.
They said one of the best parts of Matt Ryan was, and he got his nickname, was literally like he's unflappable. Like
nothing rattled.
Yeah, and you could see it even when he wasn't playing well for the Colts. He didn't look like he was rattled. It's weird how some people just different. He should have been.
Although 28-3, and
he should have been rattled.
And then Brady starts coming back. It's time to get rattled.
Yeah, get rattled.
You got to do something better.
Let's try this one.
Yeah, I just called. I'm listening to the BDM show, and I'm listening to the long fanboy email from, I'm a fanboy of Elon and Twitter and Joe Rogan, Red Rogan. I just wanted to say, shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Thank you.
That made a lot of people mad.
Red Rogan.
I keep saying it. I love finding red people. Red people make me laugh.
I think it made people mad because like people are like, they don't need you defending them. They're fine.
Yeah, they're going to be okay.
Like us making our jokes about everybody.
Think about the less fortunate people we make fun of.
Yeah. Wait,
defend those people.
You know how much jokes we talk about EJ? EJ,
he is. Did you guys? I'm going to let you in on something. EJ is one of the naturally nicest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah.
And we are.
And you guys never say anything about that.
So you guys double down on it.
Kenny.
You're just
like being meaner.
Kenny's another one. We are so mean to Kenny, and he's just a sweetheart.
EJ's been wearing the same polo shirt for 2 decades.
Yeah, it does show.
Yeah.
At least his breasts have wallowed out pockets in those things.
We're making fun of 2 of the richest people in the world.
Right.
It's fine. They're fine. They don't care.
Yeah, they don't care. One more. Let's do one more. Let's try this one.
Hey guys, this is Jerry. This is my first ever message.
Hey Jerry.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. I've always wanted to say this is dumb. I'm sorry. I was listening to the Friday Free Show talking about the midnight releases. As a big nerd who's gone to a bunch of midnight releases for games like Halo and stuff back in the day, there was a big fall-off on midnight releases with the disc games nowadays. You buy the disc game, and on the disc is literally nothing. You have to go home, install it onto your PlayStation or Xbox, which takes forever, has to download all the updates. Then you can finally play. So people stopped doing the midnight release as much because you couldn't just play it. Nintendo games, though, the cartridges, those actually have the game on it. You can actually just play it from the cartridge. So that's why the Nintendo ones are still pretty popular, where the Xbox and PlayStation ones have really fallen off almost completely. I can't remember the last midnight launch game that was not a Nintendo game in years.
He brings up a good point, I guess, and just to put it in layman's terms, I think for you, I think the CDs I could be wrong on this, but some of them are just like almost a key. You put it in your Xbox, and then it allows you to download the updates, the patches, the things that they didn't.
Okay, all from the internet. So it has to go through a full download anywhere.
Right. I don't know if it does a full download. I mean, they might put some deliverables on that CD. But what he's saying is that the main reason people wouldn't do that is because you'd buy the CD, you come home, pop it in your Xbox, then your Xbox would say, thank you for putting in the CD. We now have to gather all 10 of these updates, and it would take an hour,
So the same amount of time as it would if you just downloaded it.
Might as well just download it. Yeah, and if you download it one time, you're downloading the complete game with the patches built in. You're not having to, download the patches.
But also the midnight releases for Nintendo is because people want to play it right then.
Yep.
They don't want to wait till they get home. They don't want to wait. You know what I'm saying?
And the cartridge has the complete game on it.
And you can resell it, and you save memory on your system itself.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because you don't get a lot on this
space,
on your Switch. You don't get a lot of memory space.
Yeah, like how many, Zelda would take up how much of your memory?
I don't know. It's it's
big chunk.
20%.
Open
it's
world.
a big game, but they do a really nice job with trying to keep it efficient. The programmers of Breath of the Wild and this new one, they really know what they're doing as far as stretching the most amount out of a pretty dated console. Like the Switch is not. It's pretty dated. And they're still doing pretty amazing stuff with, the files aren't killing the machines, people are still able to play them.
Yeah,
I could put it on Maisie's, and that thing's 7 years old, 6 years old or something, All
right, that makes more sense.
Yeah, so, that, I get that. Jerry, thank you for your first-time call. See, Now here's a guy, called in for the first time, you give us some good stuff.
Good job, Jerry.
Yeah, get to work, Jerry, you're great.
You're Jerry of the day.
Don't say that.
I don't think that's good.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
We'll be back.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time.
A couple things. We've got a new beer release June 10th.
I'm excited
at
about
Hourglass.
this.
Scootin' and Tootin' Pale Ale.
Yeah.
We're doing a trivia competition starting at 6:30.
I guess I should probably send those categories to Curtis Earth, huh? Better get on that.
Yeah. I'm sure. Well, I'm pretty sure he can put it together pretty quickly. He's been doing this for 25 years.
ChatGPT, give me 100 questions for trivia.
So if you want to put together a trivia team and compete, it's free on June 10th at Hourglass. We released the beer at 5. We're going to give out a gift to the first 100 people who purchase the beer, and then we're going to do the competition. We just got the trophy.
I'm trying to get the scooter ready to be there, if possible.
Yeah.
Just being honest, don't think I'm going to make it, but that's only because I'm ordering parts like crazy and spending money on shipping. Woo! Getting stuff from Italy is hard.
So we're going to do a little weird job on a Tuesday. And make it loose. But on the line with us is Rocco. How you doing, Rocco?
I'm doing great, guys. How y'all doing?
Good.
I always laugh when you say we're going to make it loose.
Yeah.
Yes, we are. We specialize in making it loose.
So, Rocco, you're a bail bondsman, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so
doesn't he sound like a bail bondsman?
Yeah.
I think if you're a bail bondsman, if you have my nasally voice, I can't take you seriously. You need a deeper voice.
So, Rocco, just to start out, explain what a bail bondsman is.
All right. Well, pretty much, a lot of people don't know this, but when you get arrested, you actually have a constitutional right to be able to. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. So you're supposed to be able to have the opportunity to get out of jail to collect everything you need to defend yourself in court. So what a bail bondsman does is that we are licensed through the Department of Insurance. And what we do is we insure to the court, and you pay for our service as a client to get out of jail, to be able to, do your due diligence to protect your innocence and stuff. And so what you do is if the judge puts a bond on you, say you're in trouble for a DWI and your bond's $25,000, the fee that a bail bondsman charges is 10% to ensure the court that you're going to be there.
Okay.
And so what our company does is that we actually put up the $25,000 for you, and then as long as you go to court and finish your court date, then that's all you're required to do. But the bad side of it is, for example, though, as far as the court goes, we're responsible for that person. So if that person fails to appear in court, then the judge tells me, he's like, all right, Rocco, you've got 90 days to produce your client, or your company pays us, the court, $25,000.
Does he really call you Rocco? Or does he use your God-given name of, like, Jonathan or, like, you know?
No, he uses my government name. Okay. My last name's Walls, and so he'll say Mr. Walls.
Okay, that's what I thought. I didn't think he called you Rocco.
Walls.
So Rocco.
Yeah. So you like the Rockham Walls.
So essentially, okay.
Sugar Walls, gross.
So say, let's put this into my own personal terms. Say Tom
my
Van,
own prison, Creed.
I get a DUI, and then I go to you, Rocco, and
it's the only person you can think of.
Is the standard bail for DUI $25,000? Is that accurate?
Well, actually, the courts that I work with in Missouri here, they can be set on what the judge determines that it needs to be. For example, if you're a first-time offender, first time ever getting in trouble and things like that, a lot of times the judge has a base that he'll go by, and do that. But if you're if this is your third DWI or second DWI, you'll probably have the bond may be higher, and you'll have restrictions. Like you may have an interlock system put on your vehicle that you got to breathe through to get out and stuff like that.
I actually think those are cool.
So let's just say
I wish I'd had to do that to drive my car.
My bond is $25,000, and so you require $2,500. And then you guarantee that $25,000 to the court, and I pay you $2,500 just so I can live free until my court date. Is that correct?
Yeah, and basically it's not just your court; it's your entire length of the trial. If you decide to go to trial, or until the judge has disposed of your case. So
that could be a long time. So you're carrying a lot of cases at one time, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Now, but you could technically, you could put up 20. Like, if I was rich, I could put up $25,000 and circumvent the bail bondsman, and just how do you have to pay that all to the court, and they hold on to it till the end? How does that work?
Well, the $25,000 never has to get paid until my client decides to take off and go to Mexico or something.
Yeah, if you bail. Literally.
Yeah, so it has to be a provable jump? Is that what it means? Or?
Well, basically, like, just say, for example, I bond you out of jail, and what usually happens is, a lot of times, I tell my clients right off the bat, most of my clients are first-time offenders. I've got several career criminals that this is what they do for a living, believe it or not, but generally, they'll pay a bond, and they pay me the $2,500, and they get out of jail. Well, a lot of times it can last for a year. Depends on if they go to trial or if they plead guilty. A lot of times they'll just make a plea deal if it's not a serious case, just to get in and out of court. But if the client disappears, now, and keep in mind too, when I write a bond, I don't just go up there and bond you out. You give me $2,500, I don't just take the cash and write a ticket for you and you go out. I mean, I have lots of information. There's contracts you have to sign as far as giving away. We have power of attorney over every client we bond out of jail. And so what happens is that if you decide to jump, we usually have a co-signer, and a lot of times we try to. It sounds bad, but we usually try to get somebody's mom to co-sign for them.
Well, I mean, moms are easy to manipulate, right?
Yeah, no, it's because nobody really wants to screw over their mom.
Gotcha.
Because if you run and your mom co-signs for the bond, then your mom is responsible for $25,000.
Yeah, but I mean, it happens a lot. I've watched Dog the Bounty Hunter, and he calls a lot of moms, a lot of moms.
So, Rocco, can you bail yourself out without? Because it sounds like the court system wants the bail bondsman to be responsible, so that the bail bondsman goes and gets you.
So there's someone on the hook,
right? The purpose of the bondsman really, too, is to help take a workload off the police, so that way if a client does miss a court date, the judge will issue an automatic warrant for their arrest. They'll give the bondsman a certain amount of time to produce the client. But the problem is that, people have seen Dog the Bounty Hunter, and he actually gives bail bondsmen kind of a bad name.
Oh,
He's entertaining to watch.
Sorry.
No, I have a friend of mine who's a preacher. And when we first met, he was like, "Oh, so you're a bail bondsman?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, you're kind of like Dog the Bounty Hunter, right?" And I said, "Yeah, you're a preacher." I said, "So that kind of makes you like the Reverend Jesse Jackson." And he was like, "Oh, all right, I get that."
Then you fought.
You're calling me a black preacher. And then you guys did some Hawaiian justice, skin on skin.
So you can't just bail yourself out of jail. You need to go through a bondsman.
Right. Well, no, actually, depends on how the court's set up. Our court, you can use a bond. You use a bondsman, but if, for example, if your bond is $50,000, and you want to put up you can put the $5,000 up to the court, and you can do that. But a lot of times, most of the people that we deal with, they don't have $5,000 laying around.
Really?
So a lot of times, for example, we will, if your bond's $25,000 or whatever, we'll take. Say you don't have the full $2,500, but if you got maybe $1,900 or $1,800.
Man, I got this dog. I got a stuffed dog. It's worth $1,300.
Oh Lord, we get.
I got my grandma's rings.
We get a 1985 Ford Escort, and they tell us it's worth $5,000 and stuff. So we get through that a lot.
$5,000.
All right, so Rocco, now we're going to get into the part that everybody wants to hear, which is the dog, the bounty hunter part.
Right.
And it's the bounty hunter part.
Like you, shirtless, pushing down fences, bear mace.
So
Leland.
So let's
young blood peeing his pants in a Kmart parking lot and then lying to the police and saying that it was orange juice, but he was really in the parking lot masturbating.
So Rocco, let's just go use me as an example, right? Tom
you are
Van.
Orlando. Wait, you're Castleberry's dog, the bounty hunter.
No, this is Missouri. So I go to you, Rocco. You bail me out.
Yeah.
Let's
What'd you do? My dog's from Missouri. Worth, Missouri. Population 60.
I'm going to go with some sort of fraud.
Okay, I like that. Boat fraud. Boat trailer title fraud.
Yeah. There's some sort of fraud.
That's by receiving.
Yeah. And I like to believe that I'm frauding some corporation or the government.
You're frauding the government about your boat trailer, and you're also trying to do death by cop.
And so I get bailed out. You bail me out. You get my mom.
You bailed me out.
To co-sign. By the way,
God.
my mom's ride or die.
Oh, she is.
Yeah. She will not give up nothing, Bronco. I was voting with her.
Yeah.
She is ride or die. If you called her, you want to know where I'm at, she will send you in the wrong direction.
I saw her hand Tom a note as she got off the boat that said burn after reading. Just like Brian Laundrie's mother.
She don't care.
Like Brian Laundrie's mother.
She don't care what I did. She's riding the tail.
If you come to her with a body, just like Brian Laundrie's mother, she wrote, I will bring a shovel. I will bring a shovel.
Anyway, so I don't show up at court. First, how do you find out? Does the court text you like, I told you so? How does that work?
Yeah. Well, normally, we keep a weekly log of our clients who go to court, and we check on it. And the town I live in, it's not the size of Orlando. It's a little bit smaller. So we've known one of my best friends is one of the deputies that works there and stuff, and he's a court clerk. And so anytime I got a client that my name comes up on the docket for a client of ours, he doesn't show up, I do get a phone call, and then they have to send it in writing to my office. But once we get the phone call, to be honest with you, most of the time we don't. It's gotten to the point now where we don't really have to do a whole lot of bounty hunting anymore. We still do it. I still have to kick in the door once in a while. But going back to your mom, believe it or not, moms give up their kids because if they co-sign a bond for $25,000 or more or anything like that, we have access to the deed of their property and stuff like that.
You're going to take Tom's mom's home? You're going to take Marilyn Van's home, sir?
Yes.
Well,
what we do is,
there's been a track record of
you can try, but she's got guns too.
She's ride or die now, but after a certain time of me messing up, and I pawned some of her jewelry. She may give me up.
The true leave may have mellowed around a little bit.
Most of the time, what happens is I'll go to your mom's house and I'll say that I'm looking for you, and you co-sign the bond. And a lot of times they're like, I'm not giving them up. I'm not doing this. And then real quick, I show them the quit claim deed that we have on their property, and I'll be real. This is what dog doesn't do. I look at him and say, listen, he's got a warrant for him. It's not going to go away. I'm not going to go away, and if I have to pay the $25,000, then I'm going to come back and take your house and your property.
Good Lord, Rocco!
Take that, Mama Van.
I hope Mama Van goes, eat lead, pig,
Oh my God!
So shootout in the van house.
But what I do, I tell them, I say, look, but here's what we can do, because I don't want to ruin the relationship with you and your son. If you set up a time that he's going to be, I'll say you set up a time he's going to be here. I'll show up, and you act like
he comes over to use my internet to check his Movado.
Yeah.
He'll be over at 1 p.m.
I've had moms come to the door and just cuss me one upside down the other and everything, and hate me and want to fight me and everything, and then I find out he's in the closet. And I pull him out.
He's in there checking his Movado on the internet. It's the only place it's the only place he can get a secure line to make some gambling bets. He's hiding in the closet. He's making a few. He's on betnow.ag or whatever it is. He's in there making his bets, and then and he's you're in there. He's standing there quiet. He's peeping through the blinds.
So Rocco, what are you allowed to do? Because I know all of a
sudden
you're
allowed to take your mom's house.
Like no, but you're like aren't bounty hunters and bail bondsmen given like an insane amount of rights? At least
because they have the badge on the wire.
Like
they wear that badge. They wear that little leather badge on the little holster.
Basically, they sign their rights away as far as like you're allowed to go in there and
rough up the mom, push him down. But I would do. I push him on the couch. Nothing to hurt him, just scare him real good.
Like almost more rights than a police officer, because like a police officer needs like a judge order to search a house, but can't you just be like,
I just walk right in, open their fridge, start drinking their milk?
How does that work?
So how the law works as far as bail bondsmen go is that when you sign a contract with the bail bond agency, all the addresses that we list on the contract's in depth, and like most people don't do is they don't read it. They just sign it because they're ready.
No time to read it, and I can't read.
They don't. So, but by law though, when you have somebody on bond and they miss court, they're actually considered a fugitive, because the insurance company, like our company, the bail bond companies, bond you out of jail. So basically, you're incarcerated, and we get you out under our custody. So if you jump bond or violate your bond and a warrant's issued, you're under a fugitive a run. So that kind of falls. Our stuff falls under more of a U.S. Marshal style than what police officers are. I mean, I get phone calls once in a while from police officers and be like, "Hey, we're looking for this guy, and you have him on bond. Is there any way that you can just go pick him up?"
I'll go push his mom on the couch and rough her up a little bit.
So do you have technically at that point more, I guess, jurisdiction, or like you have more police rights than the police as far as you can enter their house without a judge order or anything, like because they've already signed it away?
Yeah. So what we do is if you run and you're hiding somewhere, we can go and kick in a door and look for you. But the way society is now with social media and everything, it's not a good idea just to do that. So what I do is I go to wherever town they're at, I go to the local police department. I let them know that I'm there and let them know what my intentions are. And usually the police know the person because he's been in trouble before. And then what we do is before I ever breach a house, I like to have at least 85 to 90%, probability that he is in there. So usually I have somebody tell me he's there, an eyewitness say he's there, or we'll take out the house until we see him.
Drone. You fly a mini drone into the shower.
Are you armed, Rocco? It seems like insanely dangerous to kick some criminal's door down.
Your mother's door in.
Everybody's got guns. It seems like they, and I feel like
bulletproof
and they don't want to go to jail, so they're going to do some desperate stuff.
And I feel like if they shot,
and he drank my mom's milk,
they'll like shoot at you even more than a police officer in their mind, because it's like
you don't matter as much.
I don't know. Like, hey, does that make sense?
Or maybe he has more of a rapport with the criminal because he's more closer to criminal than he is cop.
I would be like, well, screw this. It ain't worth it. I'll just wait for him to leave for cigarettes or whatever and get him at the 7-Eleven.
I have so many crazy stories to tell you. I could, but majority of the time, if somebody runs, if I can get to the family, the mom or anybody else,
always the mom.
What I tell them is like, listen, this warrant's not going away ever. And I can come and get you in any place in the United States or anywhere at all times. Because when it falls under a fugitive warrant, like for example, if I need to go into a house, I don't have to have a search warrant to go through a house because I have a fugitive warrant. So any place I need to go into that I feel he's in there, I have the right to go in.
Like a strip club. Like you could go into a strip club and turn it upside down and be like, all right, he's not here.
Well, I've arrested people at hospitals, and usually hospitals are the ones that they will not give out any personal information on anybody in there. But I have the paperwork, power of attorneys, and everything else that I show the hospital, curators and stuff like that I have to go through. And I've went in and there's been, I had a guy one time, it's about 8 years ago, he was in hospital with the flu and found out where he was at. And we went and notified local law enforcement and everything and went in and actually talked to the doctor before we went in and talked to him. And the doctor says, well, he's planned to be released today. And I said, well, I'm just going to wait here in the lobby until you release him. And as soon as the doctor came in and gave me the release, he was still in the bed. I walked in there and said hi to him and cuffed him and took him to jail in his hospital.
I have the flu. Please don't cuff me.
So, Rocco, tell us a story about, like, breaking into someone's house, where people hide, like, some of the crazier stuff you've dealt with.
Well, one of my favorite ones, actually, I went to school in Orlando, but I moved back here. But one of my guys bonded out of jail, and he missed court. And after about 3 months of looking for him, we actually found out he was in Orlando. And I had a young bounty hunter who was actually my nephew. He worked for me.
Oh, I love when you get your nephew to come along. He's got a ponytail.
Yeah, that was pretty close to what he's like. He's a little skinny guy. And anyway,
gotta have a sidekick with a ponytail if you're a bounty hunter. It just makes it better.
Well, I couldn't leave to go to Florida, but we hired a freelance bounty hunter to go do it. So him and my nephew went down there.
This is like Jacksonville Mandalorian.
And Florida law was a little bit different. You can go down and arrest them, but you still have to go through the police. And before you breach a house, you have to have local law enforcement with you before you'll breach one.
Gotcha. So you got to have a fat guy there before you can kick the door.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry.
Do they sit in their car, or do they give you backup, or what do they do?
No, I think they sit in their car.
It varies. A lot of times when we get there, the law enforcement will show up and they'll sit like out in the street and let us go up to the door and surround the house.
Yeah, that's what they did with a lady hit my car. The law enforcement was like, you can go do what you want to do, but we're staying down here. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
I'll go get blasted through the door.
So this guy, my nephew and this bounty hunter showed up, and we never used this one bounty hunter before. My nephew been doing it for a while.
Was he a crazy loose cannon? And he's like, I always shoot first. He's one of those guys.
Well, he's one of those guys. He was an older gentleman, and he just had this. He was from Oklahoma, so he had this big walking attitude all the time.
Oh yeah.
They get down there, and the guy, when they find the house, they walk up to it was a trailer, and they walk up there, and he is on the porch, and it's screened in and locked. And the bounty hunter we sent with my nephew, he said, hey, are you so-and-so? And he said, yeah. He said, we got a warrant for you. And he said, well, let me get my shoes on. Well, then he went in the house and locked it.
Yeah.
Can't get through those screens. Those are good old Florida screens.
So they tried to, knock on the door. Well, the local, it wasn't actually Orlando. It was outside town a little bit, but they really didn't have an officer to send out there, so they were waiting.
Yeah, everybody was pulling Tom's tag numbers. So every officer was handled.
Oh my God!
So this bounty hunter we sat down there. He says, "Well, I'm not waiting around for this. We drove too long to get." He just leaves, and my nephew said, "We can't leave because it was like a $75,000 bond." And he was like, "We can't leave. I got to stay here." So my nephew stayed there until I drove down there, and it's about a 23-hour drive from here. And anyways, I told him, I said, don't watch the house. Don't let anybody
I'm on
leave.
my way.
Well, when me and my other guy got there, first thing we did was cut the power to the trailer.
Oh man, kill his Netflix. We're gonna get him.
We're gonna wake him out.
Yeah.
And it was in August, so it was hot.
So you're
That's fine. I'll just go on my screen porch.
What?
I'm out here on the screen porch.
So
come get me.
Finally, after maybe about 32 hours, finally the lady we didn't want to breach the trailer because we wanted to do it right. So finally, a lady opened the door, and she's like, well, he's not here. And I said, well, man, we got to search the place first. So she let us come in and search, and man, we looked all in that trailer and turned that thing upside down. He wasn't in there, and And I was pretty frustrated.
It's Jacksonville David Copperfield. He disappeared on you.
We were just fixing to walk out the door, and she was kind of hurrying us out. Well, the trailer was trashed. And all of a sudden, we looked over at the couch, and it was nice and clean and real nice and made up. And I went over there and took the cushions off, and he was laying.
Yes.
They took the high bed out.
Pretending to be the couch. This ain't no couch. This is a man.
You got to throw some trash on the couch, too.
That's what Mama Van would do. Hide me in the couch.
That ain't a human. That's my brand new couch. That's some rooms to go.
So he's laying under the cushions.
Love it.
He was hot and sweaty, though. He'd been here for a hot house for a long time.
Oh, my God. I pretended I was a couch for 36 hours.
I wonder how
you don't have to do that until they actually come in, sir.
Yeah.
He's a method actor.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Weird weekend, weird weekend. Luke the Lizard, I know this is on a Wednesday, but Luke the Lizard, I couldn't find him over the weekend. I freaked out. But I didn't text you guys because I want to worry you over the holiday.
It wouldn't have worried me. I would have just been like, well, maybe it's gone.
I am a little attached. I am a little attached. So I started creating scenarios in my brain, like good ones. Like, well, he got out, and he's free. We nursed him to health. He's strong. He's ready to go. We got him, up and running, and he took off. Yeah. Another journey.
And he'll immediately be eaten by a bird.
Yeah.
Or one of the other 10,000 or stepped on the sidewalk.
Or I could just squish him in the door jam on my way out, creating these scenarios in my brain, not even know I killed him. Anyway.
He's still alive.
Yeah, he is still alive. He's in the email basket. He's thriving. He's fine. Tom's fed him this morning. If you'd like to watch us feed him, occasionally he pops up on our Twitch and our YouTube channel. We stream this every single Monday through Friday, and you can check it out. Just go to twitch.tv/Tom and Dan Live, or on YouTube. If that's more your jam, you can just search at Tom and Dan Live.
Let's do some weird job.
All right, buddy. Weird job is on dick. Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dan really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh, yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by modernpi.com.
Yeah, man.
Use promo code Tom and Dan for 10% off any of your plumbing needs. We've got Allison on the line. How you doing, Allison?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
There she is. Can you see her, Tom? Hold on. There she is live via Zoom. Hey, thanks for joining us today for Weird Job. What is your weird job?
So I am a taxidermist with Morgue Made Taxidermy. And what makes it
Oh, my God, don't taxiderm the child. Leave the child. Save the child. Sorry.
What makes it a little bit weird is that I specialize in pet taxidermy, so it's a little more uncommon than what you usually hear about.
It's also, I would say, pet taxidermy versus just your standard old, what I've always assumed was a Louisianaman in a shack. Just doing it for sport. I think pet taxidermy sounds like one of the most crazy and intimate, hyper intimate things you could do for somebody. And I'm not saying this to diss your job. I'm just saying I don't think I'd want to deal with pet owners and their most precious item. Does that make sense?
Yes, it definitely, puts some stress on there because there's no room for mistakes.
No.
Well, they're dead already, so that's one thing. That's a little less stress.
But you're throwing...
A veterinarian would be more stressful because you came into you alive.
But this is
and
irrational.
You want it back alive.
No,
you deliver a dead.
You're far too rational, sir.
But anything can be fixed.
No.
It's like,
you can't go to Joanne Fabric and fix Dansby's eyeballs. They got to be his real eyeballs.
Yeah. Anyway, so Allison, how did you get into
this is great
pet taxidermy?
So I got into taxidermy. I was making bug jewelry, and it was pretty popular.
Oh my God! I bet you
what does that mean?
Wild in the sack, man. A girl that makes bug jewelry. I'm just telling you right now. That's what you want. That's what you want to look for. Crazy goth.
So I had a friend that had a barber shop, and he had asked me if I could make like a little rat diorama that looked like his barber shop. So
out of dead rats.
Yeah, how I am is that I think I can do anything, and so
that'll get the customer.
I know what my shop needs. I need a replica of my barbershop made of rats.
Yes. So it was ugly and it was cool, and I really liked it. So I started looking at taxidermy schools to go to, and I actually went to one in Pensacola.
That's awesome.
Called Taxidermy Tech. And it's definitely more normal.
Tax Army Tech. That's awesome. Once you get out of Tax Army Tech, we guarantee a 65% job rate.
I probably would have guessed Pensacola if someone had said, where is Florida's only taxidermy?
I was going Jacksonville. I always go Jacksonville.
How does it St. Augustine?
I always get, Jacksonville, St. Augustine is almost the same thing. St. Augustine just has a Spanish helmet on.
It was very normal taxidermy that I learned. It definitely wasn't any of the weird stuff like my rabbit dolls here that you see.
Yes.
So I was kind of like sore thumb there.
This is crazy. So you did one on a whim, just kind of trying it, and then you went to a school in Pensacola, and then do you get an accreditation from the taxidermy college or whatever it is?
So in Florida, you don't need like a license to do taxidermy.
Really? You mean you're allowed to do anything you want in Florida?
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah, I know.
I like that.
You get like a certificate of completion, but it's a 1-week class and you mount 2 different animals while you're there.
Hey now. Sorry, I just had to say.
Where do they get the animals that you're mounting for like a school?
They keep them out back.
But there's tons of animals in, all over the shelters or whatever.
Oh,
God.
They actually have you swing through. They actually
misinformation.
They actually tell you to swing through Seminole
County. You know how many cats there are?
You just grab one while you run by. But you lie to them. You say, it'll be fine.
So I don't particularly hunt myself or kill any animals for my art. But like for the school, most people bring like their own deer that they hunted to have done. And then they get capes and stuff from people, but that's where the school stuff comes from.
Right.
A lot of my stuff comes from like zoos and different like facilities like that where the animals kind of die naturally. And I also pick up a lot of roadkill.
Oh my God!
I wonder about that.
So Allison, let's start with the basics. So this
is awesome.
What actual parts of the animal do you use for taxidermy? Is it just the hide or the fur?
I think you need the bones. You need them getaway sticks.
No, so it's just the hide. It's just the skin with the fur on it for taxidermy. But I also make like wet specimens and I clean the bones and everything too. So I try to use up as much of the animal as I can. And then I sell them at oddities markets.
Okay, so you use the bones at
wait a
oddity
minute. If you're not using the bones and you're putting together, let's say, a raccoon, what are you doing? You're just taking the hide and draping it over an old gas can and gluing it? Like, what are you doing?
Stuffed, right?
So commercial taxidermy supplies they sell forms, which it's made of a 2-part urethane foam, and it'll be sculpted to look like that animal. So for raccoons and things, that's what you would buy, and then you would put the skin over that.
And then you have to size it, right?
I have to make that myself.
So if it was like a fat boy, like a big one of Tom's Castleberry coons, one of those jumbos, one of those big guys, would you go to the website and go, okay, I need a 2-foot raccoon, and then I need to get him a little chunkier build? Can you dial it in, like by buying a form that's a fatter, or do you have to stuff it to do that? Like, is that where the creativity comes in?
So for the most part, most of those common commercial animals like raccoons, deer, and things like that, they come in different sizes. So you would measure closest to that size. As for like cats and dogs and exotic animals, they don't make those. So I actually mold their bodies and I make my own mold and form off of that.
That's
so it fits perfect.
Crazy.
So Allison, are you like, if someone brings you something that they want.
I could have brought her Caesar, right?
Are you gutting the animal and taking the hide off and processing it all? Then
like they do in Red Dead Redemption 2.
And then with all going back to like you're doing like household pets now. Do they want the other remains cremated or whatever?
Sometimes. So I do all of that. So they do bring it to me whole. That's how I would prefer all animals come to me. And because I don't really do hunted animals, I don't have the issue running into where people wanted some of it for food or anything. So they just bring me the whole thing. And then, yes, once I get my mold made, I will, I actually wrap them up in like a biodegradable burlap fabric, and they get, tied up. It looks really nice to where they can either bury the remains right from there into the earth, or they can take that to the crematory and have them cremated.
Wow. Okay. Giving people options. Pretty cool. That is.
They have lots of options.
Yeah,
I have no judgment towards what people choose to do.
Is it at all gross, or because you know what you're doing and maybe it's taken on a different form at this point? Like, is it disgusting at all, or?
Definitely at the beginning.
Right.
I'm pretty used to it now.
What's the grossest
gross part kind of goes away, but once in a blue moon, I get something that, don't expect, and it smells really bad or something.
How, I watch...
Happens with homeless people at the hospitals, too. You get them in there and you think it's okay, and then you start smelling something, and tumor.
I've been watching Alone, so I've been watching them field dress like rabbits or whatever, and cut the hide off, and then basically get all the entrails out and get to the meat and stuff. Yeah. And they show it all, and then I'm watching it, and I'm like, it doesn't look like that complicated.
It doesn't.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like you're doing
it's
surgery.
It's tried and true.
Yeah. Like I'm watching them do
it. It's the same every time.
And then I'm like, I wonder if I could do this if I was in a survival situation. At first, I could never catch a rabbit. But if I did, I was like, I wonder if I... And it looks like it's not that difficult.
I think I could catch a sick rabbit.
So how hard is it just to do that part of it and get the hide off? How long does it take?
So, I mean, like for me, if I was doing a rabbit, it would take probably 2 minutes. You do have to put a little bit more into it than you would see somebody field dressing, because I don't want to rip the skin up and put a bunch of holes in it. Definitely taking down the face and everything. You want to be a little more precise. But like my 5-year-old has mounted rats before that he did himself. So I think anybody could really do it.
Grit. That boy's got grit. That's a rat mountain grit boy right there.
He did a really good job.
Yeah. Have you guys even seen a rat, Tom?
Yeah. Oh my God, dead or alive. Haven't even seen one alive. It's terrifying. Have you ever seen one alive? It's terrifying.
Allison, before we move to the actual household pets, I want to talk about the fish taxidermy industry, because I remember my dad had a shark.
Oh, you mean the jumbo sport fish?
Yeah. The jumbo sport fish, and then like
Andrea's dad has one.
The billfish, it seems like the majority of everything, like even the shark, the only thing that's actually the shark is its jaws, and then the whole other
it's like a
the rest of it is this fiberglass mold.
These
right?
molds you're telling me about. My whole my dream of taxidermy has been the balloon has been popped.
And then it's like, all right, well, you just have the jaws of it, and then you just built a mold around it.
Like, what I don't need the fiberglass fish.
So with fish, it's just, and then with the billfish, what do they even use for that? Do they use the sail or whatever?
So most fish now are reproduction. I actually don't do fish, but the reason for that is that the skin doesn't hold up that long. So like if you've ever been to a thrift store and you've seen like a skin mount bass on the wall, it's always like falling apart and flaking, and most fish guys have moved to the reproduction. And the nice part is that you can catch and release too with that. So if you were fishing and you caught a big bass, they just take a picture and the measurement for you, and then you can just order that reproduction mount and do with whatever
not
the fish
real.
that you
It's
want.
not real.
Good.
You gotta, no, I'm with you. You
I
gotta
want
put
the dead
whole,
body
I
there,
want my
falling
fish.
off or whatever.
Flaky scales.
I want you to flake my fish into my coffin as I'm dying. I want an old flaky bass.
So, Allison, let's talk about the pets. All right, so people...
Do they flake too?
People...
Or what do you spray them with Scotch Guard? You guys, can you make them so they're, like, I move them around? Can you make them like a teddy bear?
Kind of.
Tell us what these crazy people are doing.
So I do only offer sleeping pose for like cats and dogs, but I get all kinds of pets. Like I've done
Sleeping
a 6-foot monitor lizard, pet snakes, bearded dragons, and things like that. Those all do with
I
open
don't want
eyes.
sleeping
It just seems
pose.
like the cats and dogs are a little more personal.
Sleeping pose. I want just won the lottery.
So, Allison, okay, someone's Yorkie dies, and then
don't talk about it.
And then they want you to
take their Yorkie,
taxidermy it into a sleeping pose.
A sleeping Yorkie swaddled. Do you put it in a little bed?
Let's go through the process. So first,
do you want to see one?
Yeah. Oh, this is so morbidly crazy.
Do they tell you about it to prepare, or do they put it in the freezer after it dies? Because it starts stinking.
Put it in the oven.
Tell us the process.
So a lot of people do contact me before their pet is being put down. If they've heard of me, they'll get in contact with me and kind of make plans on knowing how much to pay up front and everything like that. But they do need to go in the freezer pretty soon after death. I have a 24-hour freezer, too, so people just kind of drop off in the middle of the night sometimes and sign some papers, and I wake up to pets in there.
I mean, it's kind of weird to write the lady before the dog dies, right?
No, I think that's smart.
A lot of people have them euthanized. So, like, if they've been, terminally ill already and they know they schedule the euthanasia.
Do you talk that out with your dog? Do you say, hey, I sent the email today to the taxidermy lady. I made preparations.
Well, it's the same thing of like Laps of Love or whatever.
Yeah,
I contacted them before.
You're blowing my mind.
Sucks.
We knew it was coming with Lena. It was just it's just like.
Did you talk to Lena
see
about
the writing on the wall?
Crystal didn't vocalize it, did she?
I told her. She don't understand.
Did you tell Lena? You're going to die today. Today is your death day.
Yeah, just the dad know. And then since it didn't know, it made me feel better. I was like, it doesn't know one way or the other.
Yeah, I think that's better.
So
you wake up, you get up, it's like 6:30, you get a cup of coffee, you walk out to your freezer, there's a Great Dane in there. And it's time to go. It's go time.
It's like that.
What's the majority of dogs that you taxidermy? I imagine it's like
Pee-pee
Daniel
dogs.
likes small pee-pee dogs.
Pee-pee dogs.
So I would say the most that I've done are usually like the Shih Tzu Maltese mixes. For some reason, a lot of people get those done. Also Chihuahua.
What's the hardest dog?
Pickles.
What's the hardest dog to?
Great Dane.
Anything that doesn't have thick hair. The shorter the hair, the harder it is to do.
I've heard that.
Because it's harder to hide, the stitches and things like that in there. So definitely like the fluffier the dog, the better.
If it's like a Weimaraner, it ends up looking like an old baseball glove with a lot of holes. Right?
So, Allison.
I think something like that. I haven't done like any type of dog like that, but it would have to be really, really sculpted underneath. And I'd probably have to like mold and cast it a couple times to get it really, really smooth where the skin sat on.
Now, if I gave you Caesar, who was my other West Highland Terrier who passed months ago, and could I, for a little extra money, could you give him like abs? Could you poof up his arms and make him like stronger looking?
I can do whatever you want. That's really the only, kind of exception I have is that I do prefer doing the eyes closed.
Gotcha.
Most of the people that I have, most of the clients that I have, they're really heartbroken and torn apart about their pet. So seeing it with their eyes open is like harmful to them. It hurts. But if I've done a few where people wanted them, with clothes and stuff and like kind of silly. And I judge it kind of on the customer. If I think they're just like kind of cool and they're wanting a cool piece of taxidermy that happens to be their pet, I'd be willing to do like open eyes and kind of funny or whatever with that.
Gotcha.
So, Allison,
this is crazy.
Tell us about your clients, because I looked at this and like we've talked about how Barbara Streisand has cloned her same pet for years or whatever, and I'm trying to understand
like the fourth one or something at this point, right?
The psychology behind, I guess, having your dog taxidermied and then it just sleeping in the corner is that, okay, and even if you do, bury the rest of it, and then you have this sculpture, let's call it, and it's sitting in the corner, and then you see it, and then it kind of brings you a slight injection of happiness or contentment, I guess, because you just
happy memory.
You remember the dog, and then it still feels like the dog is something, because a lot of times you're busy throughout the day.
Just a tribute to you see it, and you're like,
and then it just kind of like feels like it's still with you, kind of like an urn or something where it's just sitting there, and you kind of brings you memories. So I can understand. Some people would look at it like crazy, but it's like psychologically,
it's a little different.
It's different, but I can understand.
Maybe a little dark.
I can understand how it brings the person a little joy of seeing their dog.
Well, you never truly gave it up, right? Like you get to hold on to it, which for some people could mean a lot.
Yeah. So what do you think the psychology is behind that?
Well, I like to say no goodbyes necessary. You just get your pet back. And I think, if anything, to me, it's more normal than the cremation. And cremation was not always normalized. Like at some point that was weird and considered weird. But, with the pets, it's like they're sleeping. And I think it kind of brings you back to your pet. When your pet was alive and sleeping, now you're seeing them the same way every time you walk in the door. You can still pet them. You can still smell them. The skin, even after it's tanned with chemicals, it still holds some of their natural scent. And I think that's just comforting. And I see it definitely a lot in people with kids. They find it comforting to be able to pet their dog. And I have customers that take it with them everywhere that they go. So
that's crazy.
Petting it is
cradling the.
You take it everywhere you go. I want to put it on the dash of my car.
Allison, I mentioned.
Or put it in the back of my car.
Seeing it out of the corner of your eye. If you're sitting in the corner and petting,
I have to hold it to go to sleep.
The taxidermy dog, and then somehow
what's the wear
pretending
factor on
it's still alive? I feel like maybe that's like a psychologist would tell you, like, hey, you're not experiencing any closure.
What is the wear factor on this? And do you do tune-ups on these if I've been cuddling a little too much?
I definitely would. I mean, I haven't had any issues with people messing them up. I mean, if you were really petting the same exact spot every single day with 30 fingers or something, it might need a repair in 20 years. But,
gotcha.
The chemicals that we use now, the new age tanning methods, they're really holding on to it. It's good.
That's crazy, man. That's wild.
Some of the people I have, they think that I'm going to bring it back to life. Like that's kind of, and I tell those people no after,
those people
we've had our
those are the super
stuff.
crazy.
Some people are really too grief stricken for it. It's still just a piece of art, whether it's your pet or not. So I kind of have to meet people that have that balance in the middle.
Sure.
Welcome to A Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer's here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Real quick, on June 10th, we have our beer release at Hourglass in Longwood.
Yes.
The trivia starts at 6:30. We got Curtis Earth running the trivia.
Yeah, so we have good trivia. We have handcrafted beer, courtesy of our friends at Hourglass. It's Scootin' and Tootin', a me-themed beer.
Yeah, pale ale.
Yeah.
So come get your beer, stay for the trivia. We got prizes and a bunch of different stuff, all run by one of the best trivia people in town.
Exactly, Mr. Curtis Earth.
So on the line with us,
this is really cool.
I remember when I came in this morning, I was we usually go over our daily interviews.
Yeah.
And then when Sam told me who we were interviewing, I was like, okay.
You jumped to your feet.
Well, the name didn't register right off the bat. And then I was like, all right.
You've never been good with names.
I'm like, from Black Patrol. I'm like, I love Jocelyn Jane.
He screamed from Black Patrol, and he stood and put his arms to the sky.
I think you referred to her as Officer Jane, and I said, do not ask her to fill out your paperwork for your boat trailer. She cannot do that.
It would be Officer Jocelyn.
And then I immediately got nervous. So I'm like, I've been watching Jocelyn for a while.
Yeah, you have.
Anyway, so on Zoom with us, Jocelyn Jane. How you doing, Jocelyn?
Nervous right now.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Are you there? Oh, God.
Yeah, I mean,
there it is.
It's Zoom.
You embarrassed yourself.
Zoom has to settle a bit. We were screaming because, we got nervous when we found out that you were going to be on the line. But, hey, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate you giving it to us.
Thanks for having me.
So, Jocelyn, I'm curious to a lot of things.
Well, we're a small business, right? Like, we have an independent podcast. We left terrestrial radio only to be pulled back into it. But a lot has changed in our business, right? Because we went from being radio guys to being podcasting guys. And you went from being a top-tier adult entertainer or adult star into basically becoming a really fine-tuned, during the pandemic, you are a content creating mega superstar. So you've seen your business change. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's constantly changing and constantly evolving, and you have to really be on the ball with it, and you have to just like keep creating, keep thinking what you're into, what people would like. Like, it's constantly evolving, constantly changing.
Tom and I were... Go ahead, Tom.
Well, I'm curious, Jocelyn, that so you're producing these videos and they're getting insane amount of views,
and
right?
For those that don't know, because we're alluding to it because of terrestrial radio, they are spicy adult videos.
Well, yeah, they're porn videos, and and now I know you started in 2016 or 17?
16.
And you work with Bang Bros, and of course I mentioned...
Bang Bros, actually, that was their site. Black Patrol was their site.
Okay, gotcha.
I was on contract with them.
Gotcha. And when you go into the adult film industry, especially around this time, like, tube sites are the prevalent way that people consume this content, and we kind of went through that change from 90s into the 2000s and the internet era.
We saw the DVDs disappear. We saw the Blu-rays disappear. We saw everything go to streaming. Then we saw everything getting stolen. We saw copyright strikes
And so during that time, like, I know it's funny because my brother-in-law, like, I grew up in Miami too. My brother-in-law insured the Bang Bros guys, and they got stinking rich. I mean, one of them bought Miami Beach mansion from the former. What happened?
You ever been in the Bang?
No, I've never seen it. I heard about it.
It smells just as bad as you think it would.
Anyway, it was like the former Who guitarist that owned it or whatever. Anyway, so these guys were producing content, and would they sell it to the tube sites?
No, it would just, what happened was that it got stolen so much that by, like, we were on contract by like the 5th or 6th episode. But we were canceled pretty quickly into our contract. I only think we shot like maybe 20 videos because at the time the producer allowed a lot of things that weren't actually allowed. So Visa just stopped processing the site.
Wow.
Is that when the guys started buying their own credit card processing companies? Because I knew that was happening behind the scene because the credit card processing companies were like, we're not touching it. Is that true?
Yeah, because we were doing shit that we weren't supposed to be doing, that the producer didn't tell us, oh yeah, by the way, you can't like point a gun on camera. We didn't know that going in.
Well, of course you can do triple.
Right. So kind of like Twitch content, right? There's certain rules, like you can't have weapons on, you can't do drugs on it.
Well, Jocelyn, we got flagged very early on Twitch because Tom, and it wasn't a sexual thing at all, but Tom just showed the camera. He showed a simian, like a sex device, and then we got flagged, and then we got told, oh, you got to be careful.
Yeah, it's bad. Like, also too, my name is flagged.
Really?
Like on YouTube. Yeah, so I know a couple podcasts who have like tried to put my name on YouTube, and it gets taken down immediately. They told me without question.
Is there something else I should call you if I want to sneak you into YouTube?
But what do you mean by rules? Like, you can't point a gun on camera? Whose rules?
It was according to the credit card processors. So like Visa said it looked too forced.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what. They stopped processing the site.
They won't let you pay for like violence, right?
Like it was a reverse.
Yeah.
Jocelyn, I saw it. They liked it. They liked it. I saw it. I watched them all.
The other thing about Black Patrol is it looked real. Like, people have asked me,
like a live PD
guys
thing.
Get tested? I'm like, yes, it was an actual set. Like, what are you talking about? So I feel like, well, like some people, when they first met me, they thought I was an actual cop. Some people still ask their friends if I'm an actual cop in the industry before they hit me up.
Does it bother you?
Hilarious.
Does it bother you?
Well, that's pretty dumb.
Does it bother you that you are a college-educated businesswoman, like, and smart, and that the rest of us swirling around you are asking you dumb questions like that? Like, that's a weird thing. Because I was going to ask you how often you get recognized. Because, like, some of the videos Tom and I were looking at that you have hundreds of millions of views. Do you ever get stopped? Like on the daily?
I do and I don't. I live in Miami, so like I don't really get recognized there.
Sure.
But when I go to New York, it's crazy.
Yeah. They like the tall gals. They like the tall gal. I'm 5'2", and I like tall gals. So.
That, later, like it's crazy. Like New York is fun, but like it's a lot for me.
So, I mean, we were watching an interview. Sam was showing us an interview where you were talking about firing your agent. Are you doing this all on your own? And how much work is this?
Yeah, I've had agents over the years. My agent for Black Patrol was actually a recruiter. And scenes were so hard. They were so difficult to do. They were 8 to 12-hour days. They were grueling physically. Like, you're in the heat in Miami in October, so it's 85 degrees outside, and you're in a house that hasn't had air conditioning for 3 years.
I was going to ask you.
Oh, my God.
There's one scene on a roof.
Do you guys have a union?
Nice. Make it look pretty. Like... Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah, I know, because I grew up in Miami. Like I know, like I think you were on a roof on some Bird Road. Like you were on a roof of a place. Then you were like,
absolutely, we were in Doral.
Yep, and it's like hot as hell.
Scenes were shot. Wow, a lot of those pickup scenes were shot in Doral, and then we would do the sex part on Bang Bros' campus that they had at the time.
Okay,
that's crazy.
Area, yeah.
But now,
Josh,
we got the cops called on us. 120.
The real cops.
Really?
How does that go down?
What happens when they show up? Did like
what are you doing here?
Do they try and get you for impersonating a cop?
Yeah, so they were like, so we were at this we had shot in it before, so it's this random field that we're running in, like somewhere in Doral. I don't know the location. Like we drove for a couple miles and then we just took a right and we were miraculously there. And then, so we had done a pickup scene for our second scene there and everything was fine. Everybody was watching, like getting involved, but everybody was cool with it. Then we went back and a guy came out and asked if we had permits to film, which in porn you don't do.
Right.
Yeah. Plus it's Miami. I'm surprised anybody asks for any permits. Permits? I've never heard of a permit in Miami.
So this guy who I'm assuming like, because he kept having people come to his house, so I'm assuming like they were picking up something, like it was not a great area, so like maybe he was a weed boy, a dope boy, something.
Gotcha.
And he came out and asked if we had a film permit, and my producer told him, "Go f*** yourself, we're filming."
Okay.
Went back into his house and he called the cops on us, and that's when they were like, "Why are you dressed like police?" And at that point, we had already shot 5 or 6 scenes, so the dudes that were coming to shoot with us that were brand new had already seen the scenes. They knew what was going on. Like, it wasn't like it was all, like, kept under wraps.
Yeah.
Like, we were outside.
I'm surprised the cops didn't recognize.
Hey, I know who you are. Yeah, cops are spicy. You know, like.
You know, it's actually really funny. So, I actually still get nervous around cops. Like, I refuse to look them in the eye. If they like look at me too long, I like get nervous and I'll walk away. Like
PTSD from Black Patrol.
Yeah.
Did you ever get any backlash from that, like at all?
Yeah, I mean,
she's like,
a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. Like, I mean, but at the same time, it's a character that I played, right? Like, Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained.
Of course, yeah.
I like that you chose Django because it's on brand.
Oh yeah.
Because it's insane how many times he says that word.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're right. And
like, does that make him like a racist? No, he played a character. Let's grow up.
Yeah.
Also, I bet a lot of people don't want to admit that they've actually watched it. You know what I mean? So they won't bring it up.
I think you hit the number one nail on the head is that you're just not going to admit.
Right. That you watched it.
Not only that you watched it, Sam, that you enjoyed it.
Sure.
I do, like, whenever I go out, and I like to go out to places alone. Like, I'll go to concerts alone. I'll go to movies alone.
Really?
I do a lot of things alone. And I always, like, make a friend. Like, I don't really ask questions, but I always end up, like, talking to the bartender or a couple that I run into or something. So I don't know if it's that they recognize me or they're just like, oh, look, this is a nice, pretty girl. We can have a nice conversation with her. Who knows? But I don't ask.
Yeah. Jocelyn, I wonder what you have to know from living it, the psychology behind, like, okay, we all consume porn videos, right? For the most part, I'm putting a mass blame, but I'm pretty.
You have to because so many guys
confident.
Lie.
Yeah, I don't even care.
We used to work with guys that said they never looked at any videos, and I'm like, you're an insane person.
I'll put the percentile of 99%. Okay, it's a 99%.
Not even like now. Like I grew up in the '90s, and I watched a lot of music videos growing up. That's basically porn.
Yeah, like softcore. Yeah,
there were girls half naked, covered in oil. Like my imagination did the rest. Like I knew what was going on.
Yeah, you're right.
But I wonder if so I've seen you perform a lot, Jocelyn, and on video.
Some would say you've seen her perform the most.
Well, I'm just saying maybe I've seen all the episodes of Patrol.
He makes us call him Mr. Black Patrol.
And then a lot of MILFs, different stepmom.
You're talking the 2021
a good amount.
MV MILF of the year, my friend.
But I think if I saw you on the streets of Miami, I don't think it would click for whatever reason, even though I've seen your face.
It might not. Like, okay, so that's happened to me with people. Like, people don't realize who I am until after the fact.
Yeah, that would
like
probably
they're like,
be me.
wait, like this happened with me with the content creator. Like he was like, wait, because I kept talking about Black Patrol. He was like, wait. You're the cop? He was like, I didn't realize that. And he was like, it's good that I didn't because I probably would have in 2 seconds.
Well, I didn't say that this morning, but I thought it. It was all right. So I'm curious to like making your transition from, okay, you work for Bang Bros and
you're
this
working
production company.
For some of the biggest companies in the adult industry.
So, and then you get your name out and you're on videos that get millions and millions of views. I mean, the amount of views, I don't know if you've ever even tried to calculate it, like how many humans.
You know what? I don't really want to know. I know it's a lot.
It's a lot.
But we don't have to talk numbers.
Yeah.
Well, what's interesting to me is that gives you an insane amount of power, media power. And in this day and age, like for me and Daniel, like when we started our own podcast, we started in like working for Clear Channel. So we we're on a radio show, we got our names out, and then when we started doing our own thing, we just used the notoriety we gained
and social media
and to make our own money. So I imagine you're doing the same. In fact, you garner this huge fan base, some people that liked you for one reason or the other, or liked your videos or content, and then sought you out and sought your name out, and now you can make content directly to those people, cut out the middleman, and then sell it directly to them through memberships and through personal videos.
Yeah, but is it harder?
Talk to us about that.
It's different. When I first got in, like, I wasn't, like, sheltered, but it was like, okay, you shoot once or twice a week, and that was it. But I also cammed on top of it. So it prepared me for having to deal with multiple platforms at a time. So I'm used to it. Also, like, one of my very good friends is Sarah J., and she kind of took me under her wing. When I first got in, I was like a year and a half in, and she really took me under her wing and taught me a lot about she's the reason why I am who I am today.
She's a legend.
There's no question.
So
he doesn't know her name, but if I show the picture, he's going to do the same thing he did this morning. He's going to stand, point to the sky. Yeah.
So I'm curious to because in podcasting, let's say we start doing a podcast, it's kind of similar to traditional media, where we sell advertising, right? And then we have subscriptions.
Sure.
Now, in your media, like I imagine there's a lot of subscription based and a lot of personal fans paying for specific videos
and
right?
stuff.
Yeah, I do private videos. I do customs. I do all that, like personalized stuff.
So the sky's the limit, really, right? Like Tom and I were talking. Like if you have an empty Monday, you can go crazy, right?
Or other platforms I've been asked to be on, like Cameo, that I've thought about, but I'm probably going to wait a little bit longer. But I mean, the possibilities are endless. It's just work. You have to put in the work and the time. That's really what it is.
So you could just go as hard as you want to for like a month, and then you could coast for a minute if you wanted to.
I know girls like that. Like there are girls that do that, or there are girls that like 1 month they'll do all porn stuff, and then the next month they'll do TikTok stuff.
Gotcha.
Like it just depends on how you work, how your brain works, and what works best for you.
It's really free.
Jocelyn,
just do whatever you want.
What about some rich,
but also red on the first. So
true, yeah.
Oh, true, yeah. You got to make money, pay bills. It's interesting to hear you say that because you probably see, and I don't mean any disrespect in this. I'm 46, but you probably see people that get into it that don't have the smarts that you have. I mean, we know you went to college, we know you graduated.
Well, also like it. Okay, so it's two things, right? It's so. I went to college. I have a college education, so I have an upper hand already. But also, my dad is a private banker.
Hell yeah!
So I know a lot about finances and how to manage your finances. And over the years, like I keep my mouth shut because nobody wants to hear it. But like that 18-year-old girl who just got a contract with Vixen, who buys a brand new Mercedes, like. I wouldn't suggest you do that, but
right.
Sure.
Right. You mentioned
that if you want.
You mentioned your dad was a private banker, and then I watched an interview with you where you said that you didn't believe that your family knew what you did. Is that still true? Do you think they still don't know what you do, or you guys just don't talk about it?
We talk about it. Like, there's no reason to talk about it. I pay my own bills. I make my own money.
So they don't ask, like, at Thanksgiving, they're not asking, like, hey, what have you been up to?
Yeah, I saw your, how's Black Patrol?
They do, but it's a very quick response, and we just kind of move on.
So it's kind of like they know, but like we're not getting into details about it.
Let me just tell you, your dad's business partners know. I mean, I'd bet $10,000.
I would bet that they're huge fans.
Listen, I've looked like this, and let's talk about this. So I've looked like this. I'm 32. I've looked like this since I was 12.
Oh Lord!
Like body wise, like I haven't grown since I was literally 10.
Holy moly.
Really?
Oh, my God.
It's not really a shock. Like, by the time I was, like, 17, 18, I had 25-year-old boyfriends. Like...
Oh, God. I have a 7-year-old daughter. I'm going to pass out.
She's well-developed up top. So I'm sure she's been hit on quite a bit.
Yeah, well, you are, too. I'm sure you saw some of that as well.
By his friends.
Right. Oh, no.
Dad. Oh, my God.
Dad, you got to get better friends.
He just has his head down in the ledger. Head in the ledger.
Listen, I've watched the videos, so it's hard to blame him.
A funny story. So, my brother got married in 2017. And my dad, one of my dad's family friends and his wife, who I've known like since I was a kid, they propositioned me for a threesome.
Whoa.
Holy.
Whoa, how did
wedding. But here's the thing. Okay. So before, like, it gets worse before it gets better. So, like, my brother and his wife got married on New Year's.
Whoa.
So, I don't know if it was, like, the alcohol talking. I know I had been drinking since 5 a.m. and it was, like, 2 a.m. I mean, 5 p.m. and it was, like, 2 a.m. So, I don't know. But, like, wild. I've gone through some wild.
Yeah. Well, how much?
That's a heck of a party. You could do that with your sister on New Year's, Tom.
Jocelyn, I like for when people. when people know who you are, I'm sure they just assume that they're.
Let me just tell how.
Oh, okay. What happened? Uh-oh.
Can she hear us?
Uh-oh.
Postmates.
We're on hold.
Yeah. Let's see where is she?
Don't look in her. Don't look in her bedroom, you sicko. She's a professional.
I'm not looking at her bedroom.
You got to pay for this.
Can you zoom in?
Don't zoom in on Zoom.
I can zoom in.
I want to see what's on the.
She's back.
Okay.
It's all clear. You're trying to be snoot.
I just want to see.
We know. You got to pay for that.
Welcome to Corporate Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Tom.
I am Dan. Samantha, our producer, is here. Hello, Sam.
Hello.
Okay, what happened? I mean, what happened to her desk? Where did Sam's desk go?
It's a whole ecosystem.
Yeah, okay. Like, look,
we got a heat lamp by her feet.
I'm surrounded by turds.
She has wires that cross now her thighs and that drip down. Then she has a full spectrum heat lamp.
Full spectrum.
It's legal. It's full spectrum. Okay, and then we have. We have a heat lamp. It's full spectrum UVA, UVB. You have a what is that? Driftwood.
We'll talk about it in a minute.
Leaves and peat moss everywhere. And then Samantha's desk has been squished even further. You're taking space away from her.
I gotta hydrate my peat moss.
Ew. He hasn't done that in months.
We have another beer release at Hourglass in Longwood, June 10th. So come out. We got trivia starting at 6:30. With Curtis Earth. He's hosting it all.
Yeah, this isn't just anybody doing trivia.
I love me some Curtis Earth.
We got the big boy.
He's not too bad.
We got the Michael Jordan of trivia.
Yeah.
We got
complete with a tiny Hitler mustache.
We got the full spectrum of trivia.
We do.
Yeah.
Of course, we're releasing Scootin' and Tootin' Pale Ale.
Yes.
It's a Daniel tribute beer.
Scooter and slightly maybe marijuana-infused beer, or inspired rather, not infused.
We've got Eric out there selling merch, and of course, like the trivia with Curtis Earth, that starts at 6:30.
Yes.
Get there at 5:30 for sign up. We start releasing the beer at 5.
Yes.
And all free, and come by and hang out.
It's a free event. Just come on by, and everybody's welcome, and we'd love to see you.
And me, Daniel, and Sam will be on the mics, kind of joking around as the trivia.
Rock the mic, rock the mic.
I shouldn't have said Mike. Sanford 2 is here.
Hey!
How you doing? Dustin and Dom.
Yeah.
Did you get
double D's?
Did you feel like being on the mic was like a little too young?
No. When I say things that I know, like it takes me 3 Mississippis before.
And you're like, I should have said rock the mic.
Yeah. No,
or on the mic.
When I say corny things, I know you're going to pick up on it, and then you can't get it out of your head until you make a joke about it. Anyway, so
you have the mic, sir.
How you guys doing?
Excellent. Paul is here in spirit with us.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry about his passing.
No,
it sounded like you.
Paul is fine.
I was going to say that.
Paul is here in spirit. He's looking down on us right now.
He was going to call in from his toilet. Apparently, he's got a tummy bug.
No, he's passing something,
Oh, my God.
So.
Maybe
he is passed away at this point.
So he did the old Elvis.
Let's talk about some Sanford things real quick, and then I'll tell you about the drone I found yesterday. It's a whole thing.
Tom found a drone.
Anyway.
And it's a Sanford drone.
Thank you. I want to thank you guys very much for having all of our bands on in the past few weeks. That was so radical. You guys had some really cool people call in.
We did.
I was a little jealous, actually.
Thank you for setting that up. It was awesome talking.
Did you not hang out with them at the Hurricane?
I hung out with the Suicide Machines a good bit. Of course, I hung out with Expendables and Ballyhoo. We were turds. We had our own little green room away from everybody else.
I saw with your sushi.
Oh,
that sushi spread. They had the chef from Sushi and Soul come in and just make it in front of them.
Yeah, it was.
We've never done that. That's a big dog.
Yeah,
move.
so we were talking about getting all the band's sushi rider for the day for dinner or whatever, and they were giving us a little pushback because sometimes when you're on tour, you don't I don't know. Sometimes I don't want to eat the in-house stuff because you never can tell, you know.
That's true.
So I was a little offended. I was a little offended, so I was like, when I went and talked to Sushi Soul guys, I was like, guys, make it look nice. I want these guys to be like, oh, I wish I had done that. And so he shows up with all this stuff.
Yeah,
and he starts making it in front of everyone, and everyone is just looking at it like, like they had made a huge mistake.
It looked like you guys were on vacation. Well, you know, like when you go on vacation and you get the sushi by the pool or whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. Well, I thought they were supposed to be at the hurricane party. No, you were just backstage eating this
boats of sushi.
You're talking to a bunch of punk rock guys, and I'm sure if you tell them like they're doing a punk rock festival.
I have a fish allergy. Oh, I'm a vegetarian. Oh, I only eat goat milk.
Well, I'm talking about like they're used to doing these big festivals. They're like, oh, well, guess what? We'll throw in some free sushi. And they're like, I don't want to.
Yeah, this is life, bro.
So give us 2 Papa Johns.
Yeah, we're gonna need some sandwich meats and some pita chips.
So speaking of the hurricane party,
you guys talked to Eugene too.
Oh, yeah. I talked to Eugene on Friday. He was all excited about talking to you guys.
I talked to him for about 5 minutes on the phone to kind of set it up, and he had me rolling on the floor.
He's
laughing.
hilarious.
He's incredible.
His mind is so rapid fire fast, just like his performances, that it's almost difficult to interview him. I will say that that was a toughie because
he probably talked a lot and didn't let you get a word in.
He rips, dude. He's doing a solo with it, and he's just ripping thoughts.
It's like you said, it's like him on stage, man. It's just nonstop.
Yeah, you can tell that he will. I mean, that's the way to live, man. It sounds like that guy is just ripping through life.
The dude is just so talented too. They are so good. The JCs are so great. All of the bands, man, this last weekend were terrific.
Yeah, that lineup. I think I thought it was your best. Well, I mean, you guys have you always do a good job. Hurricane Party never had anybody disappointed.
It's nice weather too.
Yeah,
best weather we've ever had for a Hurricane
80
Party.
degrees and no rain.
Is it scary for you guys as the
for
boots
next year?
On the ground when you see because I know it is for us. So we'll do like an event with you guys in Sanford. Then the weather will be perfect. We know everybody crushed it and had a great time. I wake up to text messages of everybody like, "Congrats, great job," and then immediately the next day you have to start thinking, right? Or no?
Yeah. What's the next?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, literally the next day we started putting together a list of who we want headlining.
I mean, even that night. Okay, so over up in the office, it's really awesome. There's just so many constant ideas going on when we're done with events or while we're doing events. I mean, we're consistently trying to push and make everything better for every single kind of event, not just Hurricane Party, but the events we do with you guys and the events we do with the pets,
and even the smaller ones.
I mean, everything. It's always fluid. It's always moving. We're always trying to figure out while we're doing it. Even sometimes, man, I got notes for next year, and I mean, really, we're
full spectrum.
Yes.
Full spectrum event.
Oh, I scared myself with that. The siren was a little touchy.
But definitely worried about next year to try to make it better than this year. So, I mean, it's just one of those things, you know what I mean?
You should take the pressure off and be like, next year, not as good.
yeah.
And then for the year after, better. Because you have to bring
take a break.
They can't just build and build.
Say no hurricane. No hurricane. They missed us.
I'm sure if Paul was here right now, he'd probably turn you into a pretzel.
Not in the model. Not in the model.
Now, next year is going to be even bigger and better. We already got some bigger
and we're going to dedicate
plans.
it to Paul, right?
We're going to dedicate it to Paul.
Paul's fine.
Dedicate it to Paul's colon, the poor thing.
Light. Yeah. Did you say light? Diarrhea?
Didn't want me to mention that.
A sprinkle.
Anyway, so I found this drone. So this,
Go get it.
So what Tom really wants to talk about.
Go get it.
Okay,
and you were there because we made some upgrades to the Air T&D. The beautiful Air T&D right there in the heart of Sanford. You can go and stay and enjoy all of Sanford's treats and eats.
It's right behind the West End, basically.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of how I found it. And
you were drunk.
By the way, I didn't find it. Our cleaning lady sent us a text.
I found out all about the bird. I found out all about the bird.
She sent us a text. She's like, your last guest, I believe, was a BDM, and they found this drone in the backyard, right?
I think that's an expensive Mavic. I think that's a Mavic. I don't know drones.
It's a nice looking
It's a
drone.
Mini 3 Pro.
Oh, a Mini 3 Pro?
Which, DJI or whatever.
DJI, yeah. It's a good brand. So it's the consumer, the big boy brand.
So Crystal does all the work with the Air T&D. So she was up there changing out the cushions on the front porch because they were real stained.
Oh, my God.
It's weird.
I flipped them once and they're stained on both sides.
Apparently when our listeners get to the Air T&D, they just take their diapers off and run amok.
Well, they were my old patio cushions.
You never told me that.
They were used already.
Everything on a budget. So what did he do? He probably bought new ones for his house.
Right.
Those at his house, and they took the ones that he was using yesterday and took your hand-me-downs. I know what you're doing.
And so Crystal brings this drone, and so first thing I do is I look up the cost of it on
a bunch of
Google.
some nudie girls on here.
And it's $1,000.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
So I was like, wow.
You put that on OfferUp.
So then, of course, I'm like, well, how the hell do you find the owner of this? Like, where do you start? So Crystal takes the mini SD card out of it and then pops it in her computer. She's like, maybe there's some evidence.
Oh, I like this.
On the car.
Yeah, I like it. She's like a detective.
Like whose drone this belongs to.
Maybe the footage of the person that was murdered is still on this SD card.
And there's a lot of videos. So then we started just watching the video.
Oh, my God.
And it was a
personal stuff.
Yeah, my God.
I'm trying to get...
They're flying the drone through an orgy, flying the drone in their bedroom.
My intention is to give this back to the owner. So I'm thinking the owner would be fine with me rifling through the videos because I'm trying to get it back to him.
I keep my most private videos on my drone.
And it's all like they went on a cruise, so it's like
he's flying. He's holding an iguana on the deck.
But you know what's funny about it is that like I see like a tiny person flying it down there, but I can't.
It must be a little person. Write that down. It's a little person.
And so then I'm like, well, skip to the last video, and then the last video is of the hurricane party, and he's flying the drone over the hurricane party, and see all the people.
You can see Dom yelling, "No drone! No drone! Get the hell out!"
So you're saying you stole one of my camera guys' drone? That's what I'm hearing. One of our camera guys, his drone got stolen by you.
So
you
then
see Dustin in the corner. They're looking for him. He's playing Farmville or something. They're like, "Where's Dustin? We need some more Bud Light."
It's funny because you see the drone fly. This drone is quality too. Like like I remember
4K, buddy.
The drone I bought Daniel. It's
oh my God, it was grainy. Like every video I would take would be a nightmare. It's terrifying. It was all grainy. It looked like Slender Man.
And so you see the drone flying towards the Air T&D, right? Because it's flying over the West End. It starts flying towards the Air T&D.
And then it gets over our Air T&D, and it's like, too much. Too much. Too dirty.
Come on. And so right when it gets over the Air T&D, it turns around and starts to face Lake
I'm out of here. I'm getting the hell out of this place.
It turns towards Lake Monroe, and then it just starts rocketing up.
Oh, it's going to commit suicide. My God, are you sure this is not a Ukrainian fight drone? This is a Ukrainian drone.
It gets so high that you start seeing Lake Monroe. You see Deltona. Like, it gets that high.
Deltona?
No.
Which is what Delta 9 is. Delta 9 is named after Deltona.
Full spectrum Deltona.
It's full spectrum Deltona.
And then all of a sudden it just cuts off, which I imagine it got so high it lost
it burned up in the atmosphere.
And then, so anyway, and we're like, oh, that's where it died. And we saw it die.
Oh, my God.
And then,
it's like watching the Hubble.
We looked through another couple videos, and there was one.
The sexy one.
There was one video of the guy takes off, then turns the drone around and faces himself. So I'm like,
did you do the move where you're like, computer stop? Enhance.
Yeah, I started trying to pinch the screen.
Give me put some high-res shading on the outside of that shadow.
So I took a picture of the computer screen.
The guy has resting bitch face, too. He's like, he's like all mad.
Well, I mean, you're just flying a drone. So
I smile when I do anything.
I put it on the BDM page. I'm like, anybody knows this person? Like, I found their drone.
He looks famous, too. There's a famous YouTuber that reviews gadgets that this guy looks like. He's like a good-looking black guy.
So you haven't found the guy yet?
Yes, I did. He's coming today.
Yeah.
But so
you did find the guy.
With a gun, he's going to beat us up and steal his drone back.
But then I was like, well, what's the chance? I mean, I don't know. This guy, because where the drone took off wasn't anywhere near the hurricane party. It was like he was flying it over the event.
And then one of the videos that the screenshot that you used of this particular gentleman had an elementary school in the background, and people were using the name of the elementary school to find. They're like, this gentleman definitely lives in a subdivision in Metro West. They were like finding the school.
Are you the internet detective?
Yeah, they were really doing it, and they found him.
So, but I was like, what's the chances it's just going to go by a person's face? You're going to find it. We have a big BDM community, but it's not that big. It's, a big world. So then some BDM was like, DJI has a customer support, and if you send in the drone serial number, that they'll email the owner or whatever, and you can go through that way. So then I'm like looking, like, where's the drone serial number? I take out the battery or whatever, and there's a tiny QR code in the underneath the battery.
Some goddamn alien writing, some hieroglyphics from the future. You didn't know what to do with it. Right?
Yeah. So this
QR code. Hey, wait a minute. Somebody put a menu on the back of this drone.
So I get through the QR code, but it wasn't like easy. Like I scanned the QR code, it gave me a number.
No, you scan it, you tap it, and it opens up the Safari browser.
But this is what I want to talk about because, like, you know how I am with technology. Like the fact that I even got through this and was able to give DJI the serial number.
Well, did you or did Crystal?
No, I did this. I was sitting here. It took me a while.
Yesterday, he had me take 2 pages of a PDF because he couldn't figure out how to get them out of the PDF.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he's like, I've got 6 pages. I need 2 pages. He's like, I need these other 4 away. I'm like, delete? He's like, yes, delete.
Yeah, but it's all one thing. How do you get it? It's all one piff. I don't know.
There's too many piffs.
Anyway.
That's your first problem.
So, my whole point with this is if you have a drone... Put your telephone number on the side of it. Why doesn't
like a stray dog?
It's like disc golf, man. You write your name on the back of your disc golf. Why wouldn't you do it on a drone? Disc golf costs $20.
Take a Sharpie and write your telephone number name on the bottom of the drone. Please.
Is it an aesthetics thing? Like for me? Okay, follow me here. Like with me. Because, like, for me, I'd be like, well, I'd have to get some really nice stickers of my number to make it professional. I don't want to write it with a Sharpie. You know what I mean?
That's fine. But just put your phone number on, because I started thinking about it. I was like, why wouldn't you put your number? Because if an old person, if someone one below me that is bad at technology would never be able to figure out how to find this person's drone.
Yeah, but if you're going to spend $1,000 on a drone, you're going to take care of it, and you should probably look harder for it.
No, but if you're flying miles away and it falls out of the air...
Well, why'd you let it fly miles away? Right. You bought a $1,000 drone.
It had a problem.
I don't want to make you mad.
It rocketed to Deltona.
I don't want to make you mad if this is not the direction you want to go with.
Yeah.
But is there a possibility that the reason the number or name wasn't on this drone is because it was flying next to the shower of the AT&T trying to peek in the old window?
No, it wasn't.
To see the world-famous Tom and Dan lesbian grandmas that stay at our AirTNT.
It's just
I'm just saying, somebody in the chat room said you can't really fly it wherever you want to and
unlicensed,
be like sneaky with it if you write your number on it.
Yeah, but anybody that would want to investigate it if it was flying could do this. And if police, they know to scan the QR code and the serial number. Like, what I'm saying is 50% of the people out there are not going to be able to find the owner of this, right? Write your number on the side. You know what I'm saying? Because I figure like 90%, 99% of drone owners are not doing anything nefarious.
Was it night?
What do you mean?
The video?
No, during the hurricane party. Well, there was a bunch of videos.
So they were trying to get free into the hurricane party without paying to get in.
Too. I was like, so basically you're telling me this guy is trying to scam a free show.
And then put it on
what
YouTube.
Time is he getting here? Because he owes $50.
I was
not
thinking,
okay.
though,
he was filming other big events. Like a guy, he's just an amateur drone guy.
Why wouldn't you? Did he tell you why he didn't try to find it?
He just said, he told me, he's like, oh, thank you so much. He's coming by today.
Oh, thank you so much. I forgot I'd lost my drone.
No, he said, I thought it was lost. He said he tried to look for it, but it landed so far away that he's like, he can't
Did he
go
not have a GPS on a drone?
Again, $1,000 drone. How has this happened?
That's fishy here.
I don't trust it.
Yeah, don't trust what?
Something stinks in Denmark.
You're aiding and abetting a criminal.
Someone just lost their drone.
Right. We already know
what the hell are you guys talking about?
Did it land in the yard or what?
Yeah, it just landed in the backyard.
How does he think it landed so far away?
Also, if it went that high up that it saw,
because that's not far from the hurricane party.
Then it shuts off and it fell from that high up all the way down, and it's completely undamaged.
I think they're made to fall down. Hey, how's it going? So
worlds are colliding.
The drone guy is gonna kill me.
I heard you talking about me.
I heard you talking S from outside.
We need to talk to Kenny in the drone community. Why don't people write their phone number on the side of the drone.
There's got to be a reason.
Like Dustin said, they write them on the side of your disc golf frisbees.
I mean, I see people in lowered mini trucks that write their Instagram on the side of their window.
Yeah,
like, why wouldn't you want to know?
Too jacked up at Instagram.com.
Yeah. Like, there's no follow, man. Give me a follow.
Like, at least right on the side, like, scan QR code for personal information or something. You know, like, I had to look up
or
a
just
while.
put the QR code on there, because most anybody can figure that out, except for you at times, apparently.
Well, you got to take the battery. Dude,
for a good time, call dronedriver.com.
Look how small the QR code is on the back of it.
You know your way around this.
I was going to say, he's done his research.
This guy's popping his battery out like it's a Glock.
Matter of fact, I think he did that just now to show off.
You know what I'm saying? It
is tiny.
It's not obvious.
Look how small
because I feel like most people
look at it. It looks like a turkey, and you're touching its wiener.
Most people would want to give back the drones that they found. You know, because people are like, "Oh, this expensive drone. I'd rather give it back to the owner."
Unless you found a remote too.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
then maybe keep it.
It's like make it easier to return your drones. That's all I'm saying. It's a PSA to drone owners out there. Write your number.
What do most?
That's why I come here. You guys are doing the best thing. You know, you guys are really doing your work.
I think we fight the good fight.
I think so.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not in the same category of a firefighter.
Drone
there's first responders. And then there's those that do the jobs that are priceless. There are those that do the things that that just not any average person can do.
Yeah.
These are specialty. We're specialized heroes.
He's coming. Lawrence is coming by, and I'm giving his drone back. And I went through the
QR. We're also going to give him a key to our studio.
How does the saying goes? If you're flying away from home, always put your number on your drone.
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
Love it.
That's pretty good.
So what's going on in Sanford?
Yeah. What's the next thing you guys got going on?
We've got 6 shows next week.
Yeah, we got the
Wake and Bake thing tomorrow, right?
Yeah, Saturday's the Wake and Bake.
Well, this comes out Friday, so
that's
tomorrow.
Right.
Yes, tomorrow. Wake and Bake on Saturday. That's our brand new brunch menu that we're rolling out with The Joint. We've got June 10th is our 1-year anniversary of Wild Wild West End, and that's with the livestock-less rodeos. We got like roping, mechanical bull riding, Patrick Hagerman duos out there. Nice. The Divas of Country back again as well.
Cool. You're still doing the chicken ass bingo. I saw some.
It's the chicken
poo bingo.
Chicken poo bingo.
Because it's family friendly.
It is growing in popularity like crazy.
I saw children there. Is that why it's chicken poo now?
That's why
I'm bringing actually when I leave here today, I'm going to buy little chicks because now we're doing a kids game as well where they win free prizes on a little kids game with little chicks instead. So we're doing that as well. But man,
you can do one with our lizard. He craps all over our emails.
Yeah,
you guys are getting carried away with this lizard, man.
Well, I mean, we're not.
Did I see you guys feeding it the other day?
Tom spent over $1,000 on it yesterday.
I'll tell you a whole story. Have you been to a store? It's magical.
When's the last time you were in a pet store? This guy was running the aisles like he was in the show Schmigadoon.
It was like 2008 again. I was like, oh my God. The whole shelves are full.
Happy.
It's like a real life Amazon.
Sam, I had to
so he goes by, do you need any help? Yes, I do.
I had to talk him out of buying an $89. He wanted an $89 lizard mister.
I'll tell you.
He's going to die tomorrow.
Well, I mean, you got to make sure the humidity's right. It's very important. The humidity matters, you know.
Why are you making fun of me?
You guys were feeding it maggots or something? What were you feeding?
Mealworms.
Mealworms.
Maggots.
That's what they say to feed it. They say mealworms are perfect for it.
Yeah.
So he'll take what he gets.
What's the next big event? I know we got
food trucks after that.
June 11th. Yeah.
We got our food trucks for June 11th. And then it's a lot of in-house events. We're doing another crawfish boil at Wild West End on July 15th. We're doing one on July 22nd at Citrus City. There's a ridiculous amount of in-house events that we're doing between now and August.
What's the best social to follow if people just want to, because you push these events out on your social all the time?
Facebook, you go to West End or drinkatwestend.com. You can get all our social on there. Wild Wild West End, Citrus City Crafts, Celery City Crafts, Cigar Bar, all those on Facebook.
Or just show up. I mean, I've had very good luck of just driving down on a Saturday. And
if you got a Saturday free and you have nothing to do, go to Sanford.
Jimmy showed up on Saturday night.
Every single week, I mean, every single day we have something going on in the bar, and then on the weekends, every single weekend we have live music every single weekend.
I saw Jimmy.
Jimmy, he showed up right after we shut down the outside street, just by random, because he came out to get some food with Tori, and I mean, they ended up staying all night long for the rest of the hurricane party.
He was in the front row of the Super Bowl.
He stayed in the front row with
Gargamel and
Supervillain.
I've ever seen you guys play for.
Come on.
Like, I saw his video, and I was like, who is that?
Start a radio war.
I had a good time talking to him, dude. He's a good dude.
I was like, Mr. Uglyface is getting his skank on.
You randomly show up, you'll find something to do. We've always got something going on.
Yeah, no, he was out there partying, man. He stayed out there. He was during Gargamel too. I think Jimmy was
there for us, so he had to be there at least until just about 1:30.
Yeah, 1:30.
That's killer.
Oh, that's late.
Oh,
for
Gargamel.
Party. No, Jimmy parties.
For me too.
Jimmy parties now.
Yeah. All his kids are grown, so I guess he's back to.
I stay up very late, but most of the time I'm just laying inside in the silence, just kind of thinking about the way it used to be. You know?
Guys, we appreciate it.
Right.
Drink at westend.com.
Drink at westend.com. If you're flying any drones, just fly them over our AirTND.
Sure. Write your number on the side.
Just write the number on
it. I don't know.
Maybe check the backyard next time.
All right. We will be right back.